Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Man all the way to Bitch, aka the Emperor of WMMA Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, the year's almost over. We just got a few more hours, and we'll start a new year of 2022. So anyway, as you know, I do content on mixed martial arts, especially the women, because like I said, the women need to be recognized and need attention compared to the men. And there's some amazing women that fight in the in mixed martial arts that should be recognized. Well, about a while back, the UFC revised their pound for pound list. It's the best fighters, the top fighters, the overall top women in the sport of MMA, mostly in the UFC. And I looked at the list and I saw that it was just something not right with it. One thing is, I have a problem with it. One is number one on the list is Valentina Shevchenko, and I'm a fan of Valentina. I figure she's a great MMA fighter. And I think personally to me, I think she should be number one. But then I looked at the list. They put Rose Namajunas number two. And the question is, Rose is a pretty good fighter, but that's too high for her. When as you know, recently, Juliana Pena beat Amanda Nunes about I would say about a month ago, and they dropped her from number one list. Amanda Nunes was dropped from number one on pound for pound list. And I think Juliana was also put onto the list. And that's one thing. I don't think Juliana deserves to be on the list. She's a good fighter, but she's not at that level of pound for pound. But I started to say, I'm going to do my own version of pound for pound. And not just going to be just for the UFC, just other organizations too, who I recognize, ladies who have earned their spots, who have been champions, who have, have good records. They fought some great resume. So, like I said, my list is going to start like this. I'm going to start from the bottom and to the top. And these are the top 10 pound for pound women in WMMA. So, I'm going to start. First is Jermaine, the Iron Lady, Geranime. And, even though, like I said, some people think she's a little low. But the fact is, you got to realize this. Jermaine has only been competing in mixed martial arts for, I would say, about, a little over 12 years. She started in 2008. And, she first started off, she had her first lost. And then her record's been kind of up and down. She fought some people notably, such as, in fact, notable people on her list is Julia Budd, Holly Holmes, Juliana Pena, Larissa Pacheco, and she fought Nunes twice. Her record is 10-4 with 4 knockouts. That's pretty decent. But like I said, the one thing with her is that she ducked the fade with Cyborg. And that's the thing that I think that really hurts her record. She ducked that fade. When you remember, she became the UFC featherweight champion about, like I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And, the next thing was that, UFC picked up Cyborg and she was going to fight Cyborg, but she said issues with her hand. Her last fight was against Juliana Pena, and this was last year. She submitted her. And the thing is, she's back in the Netherlands, and she says she's not going to compete because the fact is that she didn't want to take the vaccination. And the thing is that if you want to fight, this is where you fight here, unless you can fight overseas someplace. Now she got taken off from the bantamweight rankings, but she can always, if she wants to come back, she can always move over to the featherweight rankings. But I remember I did an interview when I did my video about her and Holly Holmes thing, but no one really want to see her fight Nunes again. So, but maybe 145 would be better for her. It would be quite right. Now, number 9, some people are going to be arguing about this. Some people hate this, is Holly Holmes, the preacher daughter. And, Holly's been in the game quite some time. When she started MMA, she started, I think, around about, let me check my records because I want to be certain. Holly started around about 2011. And she was, undefeated for about, I think, 13 years. She was for a good while. She was undefeated. She has a pretty good record. If you look at it, she's been. We started out in the MMA. She was from 2011 to 2016. She was I think about 0-10, and then she defeated Ronda Rousey for the title. Now, she was the 135 champion for a good while. She fought notables like I said, Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate. She fought Valentina Shevchenko, Chris Cyborg, Jermaine Duraname, and Amanda Nunes. But she took a slide after she fought Misha Tate. Misha Tate submitted her, and then she went on a 3-fight losing streak. She lost against Valentina, and she lost against Jermaine Duraname, who became the champion 145. She took a bounce back when she fought Beth Correia and beat Beth Correia. But then she took a butt whooping from Chris Cyborg. Then she fights Mika Anderson, and then she fights Amanda Nunes, and she loses. She has 2 more wins after that, which Raquel Pelletin, which I'm not going to give it to those, and Irene Daniel. But Holly's been fighting for so many years. Holly is at least nearly 41 years old, and she's been boxing since for years. I mean, and I think the thing is that she's getting up there. I don't think she has too much longer. I think she should think about retiring. I think she needs to move on. I mean, I know the fight game. She's been in the fight game for quite a long time, but I know she's popular, but she can't keep on going. She got divorced. She has other issues. She's supposed to fight a couple of times this year, but because of injuries and issues, medical issues, it's just she's done. If anything, she's going to fight. I think she should fight 145. Her body can't keep doing 135. I think at her age, I think 145 is probably a better division for her. Next up is Jessica Andraj. And Jessica has been in the fight game quite some time. If you look at her record, Jessica has been fighting for a long time. I think she started her career around about, I would say, 2011. And has been fighting up to her last fight was with Cesar Calvillo. Now, Jessica's record is 26, 9, and 9. And she's been the UFC champion. She won the title. She beat Rose about 3 years ago. And she fought some. She has a list. She fought in 3 different divisions. Remember back in the day when UFC picked up women's MMA, what about I think 2013, 2014, there was only one division. There was 135. But she fought some, notables like Liz Carmouche, Rosie Sexton, Joanna Jacek, Claudia Gadelha, Tisha Torres, Karolina Kovacevic. She fought Rose twice, Zhang, and Valentina, But her last fight with Valentina, she took a butt whooping. And, she left from 115. She fought Caitlin Chikagian. And people was talking, hey, this is going to be the next big thing. But then she fought Valentina, like I said before, and she just got dog walked. I mean, it was just, I think, tell you the truth, it was just, it was a beating of the lifetime. I don't know how she was able to, survive that fight, and she never been, she'd been knocked out by Wally Zhang. And, she had some losses before, but I think with this fight, she really got totally dominated. And I just, it was just, But then she got a bounce back when she fought, Cynthia Calvillo and beat her. And Cynthia Calvillo is going to be out for a while because she has a broken orbital bone. But right now, Jessica, she moved to the United States a few months ago. She lives here with her and her wife. There was also a little scandal a while back in the video where Jessica has some pictures that she made for OnlyFans. And she made some money off of that. So it was able for her to come over here, live in the States. Pay for a house, a car. And, that's a good thing. It's a smart thing to do. When you're fighting living outside of the country, you should move to the States where this is where you fight at. So she's doing a smart thing, like people like Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyborg, several fighters fight out of Brazil and out of the country come here and fight here. So, next up we have here Julie the Jewel Bud. Now, she's a lovely lady from Canada. She was a kickboxer, mixed martial artist. She's been in the game for quite some time. Julia started her career right about 2010. She's also one of the few women who've been with Strikeforce. People like Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyborg, Gina Carano. She's, I would say, one of the pioneers of the sport. Now, her record is 16-3-6. She has 16 wins, 3 losses, and 6 by knockout. And, Julia was at one point, she, after Strikeforce ended, she went to Bellator. And there she became the Bellator champion. Now, she remained champion for pretty much, she stayed champion for 8 years. She beat people like the likes of, she fought people like Nunes, Amanda Nunes, Jermaine Duranami, Ronda Rousey, Charmaine Tweet, Chris Cyborg, and who else I think I got? Let me see. Another notable, I'm trying to remember. I'm looking up here. I want to be sure. I forget. Oh yeah, Caitlin Young. Her last fight was Caitlin Young. But what happened to Julia? She took that beating from Cyborg, and then she became a free agent. She fought maybe 2 more fights with Bellator, and then she went over to PFL. And now she's fighting 155, which I think probably is a good way for her. She's getting up there in age. She's been fighting for a little over, nearly 11 years. So, and it's, she has a husband, her and her husband, and a stepson. They have a business together. They train, work out together. I mean, she has a good career. But like I said, she might stay with PFL for a while. Maybe get a shot at the PFL champion, Hype Job Harrison. So, let's wish Julia Budd the best. I like Julia Budd. I'm a fan of Julia Budd. Now, next up we have is Kayla Hype Job Harrison. I know you don't like calling me her Hype Job, but that's who she is. She is a Hype Job. Now, Kayla, as you know, was originally a two-time Olympic gold medalist. Back in, I think, around 2016, she won a gold medal. And then about 2-3 years ago, she made the leap to MMA. Now, she's been undefeated in PFL, the Professional Fighting League, for a little over 4 years, 3 years, I think I would say. But her list is kind of small. She only person I would say I would put on the list that she was more of a notable is I would say Richard Pacheco, who fought GDR and a couple other notable fighters. The thing is that she's now thinking of leaving PFL. And let's talk about her maybe, fighting her stablemate, Chris Cyborg. I think they both fight out of All-American, the All-American gym, I think, and, American Top Team, All-American, I forget which one it is. And the thing is, I don't think she's ready for Amanda Nunes or even Cyborg. They're talking about her going to PFL. The Bellator. I think she should stick with PFL for a little longer. Then, if you can make weight in the UFC, because UFC needs to expand the 145 division, and somebody like Kayla probably can really do that for them. I think they really need somebody like Kayla to, somebody, a popular fighter. She has the quartiers. Somebody say she's one Ronda 2.0. Like Ronda, she is a former Olympian. She has 2 gold medals, more than Ronda has. Ronda has a bronze, and also. She also fights in judo, but she needs to work on her stand-up game. When you get to you get to UFC, it's going to be tough. But more likely, Dana White, knowing his bald, crystal clean looking head, he's shopping a bit to get Kayla Harrison over there. Now, next up is Thug Rose Namajunas. Thug Rose. I'm a fan of Rose. I some things about her I might have issues with, but I do like her. She is a good fighter, and I put her at number 5. Now, I know she's number 2 on the UFC pound for pound list, but thing is, her ranking's kind of fuzzy, Rose, she's been fighting for quite some time. I think Rose's career started about, let me look at my research, because I do a lot of work, paperwork. Rose has been fighting since 2013. And, she's one of the few women who was part of when the UFC created the strawweight division. Her, Caller, Jessica Pena, Angela Hill, who are still with the UFC. Now, she fought for the title around about, I think, 2015, and she lost to Carla Esparza. And as if you heard, her and Carla Esparza are supposed to be fighting next year. And this will be the second fight. And Rose, her record is it's a pretty good record. It's 11, 4-2. She has 11 wins, 4 losses, 2 knockouts. She fight notable people like Tisha Torres twice. She's going to fight Carla Esparza a second time. Kayla Jordan Jacek twice. Jessica Andraj twice. Wally Zhang twice. And that's the thing with her record. She's been, most of the people she's fought pretty much about the same people. And I think if her record is a good record, but it's a lot of rematches. I mean, I think other than, Kayla Kivakevich, half the people she fought, she hadn't fought, but, she fought twice. I like Rose. And this is also one thing about her. She is in the history being the first woman to hold the strawweight title in UFC twice. So that's pretty good. I mean, to bounce back after her loss to Jessica Andrade, then to climb up, defeat Jessica Andrade, and then get a shot at Wally Zhang. Defeats Zhang, and then defeat her again. And then win the title by knocking out the next lady who's on the list, in the first fight, and beating again in the second fight. And like I said, her opponent is a pretty good opponent. And that is Joanna, the Boogie Woogie, don't call me Bojangwachek, and Joanna Jacek. I'm not a fan of Joanna. I'm not a fan of her. Her personality is stink. She does stuff that's just ignorant. But the thing is, she has overall one of the best records. She's been fighting since, I would say, Joanna been fighting since 2012. Now, she started out in Muay Thai, and she fought one person that she never could beat is Valentina Shevchenko. They fought at least 3 times in Muay Thai. Now, from 2020 to 2019, she's been pretty good. Now, she was on, I would say, 8-year winning streak ever since she started in 2012. And then her record is 16-4-4. So that's already pretty good. 16 wins, 4 losses, and 4 knockouts. Now, she fought people like Rosie Sexton, Claudia Gadelha, Carla Esparza, Kayla Kivakevich. She fought Rose twice. Tisha Torres, Valentina Shevchenko, and Wally Zhang. But she's been absent from the scene. Her last fight, her first loss was against Rose. Rose knocked her out, and she tapped out. And then she had a second fight with Rose, and Rose beat her in that one by decision. And then she took some more losses when she fought against Valentina Shevchenko for the flyweight title. She stepped up, and I give respect for that. She stepped up. She took a beating. This was the 4th loss she took to Valentina. As you know, Nico Montano was a champion, so the title got vacated. So I remember a while back she said she would step in every time she got an opportunity to step in. Then she fights the new strawweight champion Wally Zhang, and they go the distance. Some say that Joanna won, but if you look about the damage, she looks like one of those aliens. I think they came from outer space. I mean, she I think, what's that movie I'm trying to think of? She looked like one of the aliens from it. And she, because of that damage she took, the judges gave the win to Zhang. She gave her Zhang a good fight, but she took a lot of damage. She's a pretty good fighter. A lot of volume. Her and her fights with Claudia Gadelha, they went twice, for the title. And right now she's been sitting, at home, saying she had fought since 2019, and she's using the excuse that there's no crowd. She had almost 2 years to come back. She's not even in the rankings anymore. She was, I think, number 3 or 4, but she got dropped out of the rankings a few months back. The thing is, you don't need a crowd. You just go in and fight. You get opportunities. But the fact is, we don't know if she's going to even come back. Next year, it's going to be, this long. You get I think 6 months to a year into percussion protocol because she had a huge hematoma. It took that same time to go down. But still, you should have been fighting by now. There's other people fighting. There's been people fighting maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And you hadn't fight for almost 2 years. So that's why I'm not a fan of Bo Chicken Chick. I do respect her resume. She has a good resume. But the fact as a person, she's just shitty. Next up is, I would say, my least favorite person. And and on my list, she is 3. I would say she, because the fact is, I'm not a fan of hers. I'm not a fan. Amanda the Lioness, Lion Ass, I like to call her, Nunes, and the former double jump champ. Now, she has a good record. I'm not going to, I'm not a fan of hers, but I would honestly say she has one of the best records in the game of MMA. She's been fighting since 2008. She, at one point had a 6-year, winning streak to her recent loss. Now, her record is 26, 5, and 13. That means 26 wins, 5 losses, and 13 knockouts. She's beaten people like Julia Budd, GDR twice. She fought Kat Zingano, who put her in that suplex. She fought Valentina twice, beat her. Fought Ronda Rousey, put her out, forced her to retire. Fought Misha Cupcake Tate. Fought Chris Cyborg, also fought Julia Budd. She also is one of the few women that started out her career in Strikeforce. She was in, when she really hit the big time, she hit the big time in Strikeforce. And, she did all right in there, but then she took the fade when she ducked Cyborg, took a loss to Lexus Davis, and pretty much, that was probably one of a few losses in her career. Then after that, she did pretty good. She beats Cyborg. She knocks out Amanda Nunes. She knocks out Holly Holm. And, she crushes Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer. But like I said, to me, she ducked the fate. She ducked the first fight with Valentina because of some science, whatever it was. Then there's debate that she didn't really win that second fight with Valentina. To me, if Valentina had, she only won because of a takedown. If Valentina had kept standing up, maybe tried to get a submission, she probably could have beat Amanda Nunes. But the thing is, now with this fight with Juliana Pena, people are now seeing her as not as that good. Her fans call her the GOAT, but to me, she's not really the GOAT. She's a natty GOAT, but not a GOAT. I think the thing that happened is what happened with some fighters, especially with these fighters who are vicious, who are savages. She has got civilized. Her marriage to Nina Ansaroff and having a baby has civilized her. That's the difference. Sometimes that happens even with men fighters. It even happens. Most athletes when they settle down and get married. Like a good example, Ben Roethlisberger. Ben was crashing cars and assaulting strippers. And then, actually crashing motorcycles and assaulting strippers. But then after a while, if you look at now him now, he's kind of fallen off. He's married, he got a wife. He doesn't have that same desire like he had before. He kind of, took a little bit ill. But that's the thing with Amanda. She has kind of, lost a little bit of edge now that she's become civilized and tamed. But the thing is, the big thing is, when people want to see if she's going to bounce back from a loss against Juliana Pena. We don't know. She does have issues with her stamina, and and we all know one of the fights that we fans like to always talk about is her getting suplex by Kat Zingano. Kat was channeling Magnum TA on that fight. Now, number 2. And, I had to put her number 2 because even though, hey, she's number 1 on the pound for pound, I think she is number 2. And that is, Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko. And I'm a fan of Valentina. I think she's a great fighter. People don't give enough credit. People are hate on her because she's that damn good. She is that damn good. Now, she started, she has multiple skill sets: wrestling, sambo, BJJ, Muay Thai, boxing. Like I said, she is the female John Wick of WMMA. She is the daughter of Ivan Drago, if you die, you may die. And you know what? She's a great fighter. But she had her only losses, her two, other than the loss to Liz Carmouche, which was because of a doctor stoppage, and then the two back-to-back losses to to Amanda Nunes. But the question is, what's next for her? She just, she switched to 135 because the fact it was a great weight for her. And it was good for her. Now, her list is pretty good. She fight Sarah Kaufman, Liz Carmouche, Juliana Pena, Joanna Jacek. And you remember they went back and forth back in Muay Thai, and then she beats her in UFC. Amanda Nunes twice, and she dog walked Jessica Andraj. And she's really her star shining. Recently she did the movie Bruise with Halle Berry. There's maybe more futures of movies and acting in the future for her, possibly. Also, I know she went back to her home in Kazakhstan, where she's opened up a gym. She's training. She's been a fighting champion. After her loss against Amanda Nunes, she was on a four-fight winning streak. She's been on a 4-year winning streak. Before then she was doing pretty good. But to the loss to back-to-back losses to Amanda Nunes. And like I said, the Bullet is a great fighter. She's probably one of the best. The big thing, who's going to be next? Because a lot of the girls in her division fear her. She is Lord Voldemort. If you can't speak her name, the one you must not speak of. Well, I forget she has also one draw. That's a draw, and you forget about the draw. It's like a half-ass win, but anyway. But she's been dominant. I think she's a great champion. She's a great person. Pavel has a plan, and he has a plan for Valentina. Next up is, I would say, truthfully, is the GOAT. This woman is the best fighter, I would say. And people may not want to agree with it. And it always is going to be an issue, the fact of the use of steroids. And, everybody uses steroids. But, I would think that's just her one sin. But let's let that go. There's other fighters who've been doing it. And some people continuously do it. But, she made a mistake. And that is Christina Justino Santos Cyborg. She was married before, and the Santos was her husband's last name. And she's been fighting the game since 2005. Now, when she first started, she lost. But after that, she went on almost a 13-year winning streak. She went almost 13 years undefeated. Now, some people say, her resume is not as good, but she fought some tough fighters. Now, the one point is the steroid issue where she had a no contest. So let's say that fight don't exist. Even though it's on the records, it don't really exist. Now, her record is 25-20 and the one no contest. That's 25 wins, 2 losses, 20 knockouts, and 1 no contest. Now, some people say her record is suspect, but she has fought Amanda Nunes. She defeated back in Strikeforce, Gina Carano. And she, like I said, Nunes, some of these other ladies on the list, she was on Strikeforce. She fought Jan Finney, who also fought Valentina. She fought Marloes Cohn twice, Charmaine Tweet, Holly Holm, Julia Budd. That's a good list. Some may not be as others, but hey, it's a good list. And she has held titles in 4 promotions, from Strikeforce, Invicta, UFC, Bellator. And that's a lot, even though she took that loss to Amanda Nunes about 3 years, it was yesterday, it was 3 years ago today. She took that loss, but she bounced back. She went to Bellator, and she came and started there because we know what Dana White did. He took away our rematch with Amanda Nunes because of his selfish. I can't stand that fecal man, a piece of garbage. That's what he is. He took away our possibility for a rematch. He did that. It was on him. And Cyborg's a great person. She is a franchise. She's doing pretty good. She has success. She's making her money. She also is. Here's a loss that she needs to avenge. Now that she's with Bellator, and Bellator gives you more opportunity, she should avenge her loss to Jorina Jojo Bars. I think that's the thing she do. She has the opportunity. I know she just knocked out her last opponent, Sinead Kavanaugh. She knocked her out in like the first 2 minutes of the first round. And just no, I think Bellator doesn't really have enough competition for her per se. Some people, I don't know, there's also talk of her fight Kat Zingano, but Kat Zingano is not the same Kat Zingano. I think Kat Zingano is, I would say, broken. And I don't, like I said, I don't really see her being much of a threat to Cyborg. I know the haters, who hate on Cyborg want, see Kat win, but Alpha Cat is done. I think her best time was when she was suplexing Amanda Nunes, but that's it. But I support Cyborg Nation. I love Cyborg, and one thing I love about what I made a video about her, a couple years back, was about a year or so ago, I think, and she liked it. And it was just great for somebody like her. I mean, I'm just a small content maker. And she liked that video. She liked it. And she even commented on it. And that's why I support Cyborg and Cyborg Nation. I think she's a great person. Like I said, she should, get back against, Amanda Nunes, but we're not gonna see that happen unless Nunes leaves UFC, go to Bellator or something like that. Or there's also this thing called Submission Underground, SUG. Maybe they can do a submission match. That'd be in BJJ. I mean, that'd be something to see. But like I said, I support Cyborg Nation to this day. So she is the number one pound for pound, in women MMA fighter, WMMA fighter. There's no question about it. If you don't like it, you know what? Like Conan said in Conan Barbarian, to hell with you. But like I said, I think she's the greatest. She's a mother. She's a businesswoman. She's engaged to a great man, her fiance, Ray. Hope to get married soon. And I think she's a great all-time, pound for pound. She's the GOAT. She's WMMA. So I have a thing called honorable mention. And I know some people on the list, I think deserve to be recognized for their commitment, their passions in the sport of MMA. Now, even though some of these people weren't on my pound for pound list, they might be on yours. So I got to respect this. Now, first off, we're going to start off is with the Venezuelan vixen, Juliana Pena. Now, Juliana, she's been fighting since around about 2009. That's pretty good. She's fighting a little over 12 years. You remember she started off on Tough. She was on Tough. She was one of the group of ladies who fought on Tough. She was on Misha Tate's team against Ronda Rousey's team. And that's been about, I would say, a little over 8 years ago. And she had promise. She beat Jessica Riccozzi, who was a former boxer. Then she defeated another fighter. Then she beat Jessica I. And she beats Kat Zingano. And those are some, some of the notables, I would say. I would say Kat, and I would say Kat is one. Also, Jermaine Duraname, she fought. Valentina Shevchenko and Amanda Nunes. She defeated her. And I would say Sarah Mann. I like Sarah Mann. But she did took almost a 2-year hiatus. She had her daughter. So she was out of the game for nearly, 2 years. Then she came back. She fought Nikhil Montano, the former former 135 champion. And she took her last fight. She was supposed to fight a couple more fights, but one was supposed to be Aspen Lab, but that got canceled because Aspen Lab had weight issues. Then she fought Jermaine Duraname last year, and she took a loss. And then even though she took a loss from Jermaine Duraname, she bounced back with a win with Sarah McMahon the next year. And then she talked her way to a fight against Amanda Nunes. She said Amanda Nunes was supposed to fight her, but she dodged her. Then she defeats Amanda Nunes. Using that same skill set that I think Kat Zingano used, not backing down from opponent and just keep attacking her. She's a beautiful woman, and she become, I would say, the first true mom champ. I know, Cyborg is a mom champ, but she's like her and Nunes, they're mothers by nature, by nurture, but not nature. They didn't even have their kids. Juliana had hers. And I saw a video where it was posted by a guy who I think DC Combat, DCJ Combat, and he posted how her daughter was saying, "Mommy, I knew you were gonna win," and that's so beautiful. I mean, she just after taking those 2 years off to have her daughter, to be a mom, to bounce back, take a loss against Jermaine, especially getting submitted because she got beat by Valentina by the same way, being too aggressive. But if she has another fight that might be coming up, that is against the former double top champ, Amanda Nunes. Let's hope for the best. I think she could beat Amanda Nunes if she does the same thing, just being determined and don't back down. Now, next up is Wally Zhang. And, Wally is from, she's originally from China. And she's been doing pretty good. She's, a star. Wally's record's pretty good. I think she was dominant. She, for almost, I would say, I would give her at least 8 years. She went undefeated, just about. But the thing with Wally's, her record is not, I would say, not as good. She fought a lot of fighters out of the United States. Mostly, I think she fought in, Rising a bit. Maybe some also in, what's the name? One championship. It's not a lot of notables, before she came to UFC. But she came to UFC, she fought people like Tisha Torres, Danielle Taylor. And then she got the shot after Rose lost the title to fight, Jessica Andraj. And she KO'd Jessica Andraj. She's one of the few women to straight out knock out Jessica Andraj. I mean, Jessica's been submitted and she lost some fights in decision, but Jessica never been really knocked out, never been laid out, and she did pretty good. Her fight against Joanna Jacek, I think it was, it was either way, but I think because the damage that Joanna took, I think that's why they give it to her. Like I said, notable, like I said, she fought Andraj, Jacek, Tisha Torres, Rose twice. And then her fight against Rose, she got knocked out in the first round. And that was her first loss since almost in 8 years, just about. And, she came back and fought Rose in a rematch, and she lost that by decision. What her future's going to be, I don't know. There's a possibly maybe her fighting someone like Maria Rodriguez. Maybe if some of the other women who climb up into the division, I think she might be just become a gatekeeper. She might get a shot at Rose later on, but I don't really see her going much farther. Then you have Julia Velasquez. And, Julia's been fighting for quite some time. I think she has a decent record. She's been in Bellator for a good bit. She's been the champion there. Her record is, I would say, she's undefeated. She's 12-0 with 4 knockouts. She is the Bellator Women's 125 champion. Other than people she fight, I would say is people like Elaine Farland, and Denise Kilholz, defending the title. Now that fight with her and Denise, I watched that fight, and Denise was just she had more strike. Her strike count was high, and I think they gave it to us because Denise had more damage facially compared to she had a little bruise on her lip. She's a tough fighter. The question is, how would she do if she went over to UFC and fight 125? She hasn't been active since I think this summer when she fought these Kilholz. And the thing is, she needs to be an active fighter. The question is, who's going to fight? There's possibly her and Alejandra Lara, or maybe who else? I think I think listen, not most definitely not my girl, Valerie Loretta. She's not ready for that. Whoever is next on the Bellator list for her to fight, she's gonna fight. But if I was the UFC, you got somebody who's 12-0 with 4 knockouts. I would recruit her. She'd probably love to go over to UFC. Maybe see how she does. Like people got like Marion Farriot or Miranda Maverick. Casey. Don't call her king. She's not a king. I'm tired of people like BJ and the rest of them call her king. Never call a female king. That's a man's title. She's queen. Call her Queen Casey O'Neill. Coach, I know you love her. She's Queen Casey O'Neill. She's not female. She doesn't deserve that title. That belongs to a man. But, I think Juliana would do pretty good if she moves over to UFC. She, gives some, maybe something like a fight between her and maybe Marion Farriot or maybe, Taylor Santos, see how she does. Now, next up is a lady who I'm a fan of, and that is triple threat Tanisha Tenet. And Tanisha, she's been a king for quite some time. Tanisha has been fighting since I would say around about, if I get it correctly, Tanisha's been fighting since 2019. Even though it's not as long compared to the other women on this list, she's been doing pretty good. My man, the coach, did an interview with her. She's a cool lady. I like her. Now, she's 4-1-1 with 4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 knockout. Now, she is the current, Invicta 135 champion. The thing about Invicta, I know people say Invicta is like AAA version of, double A version of MMA, but it's a good organization. Now, we all know the shit show she got happened when she fought in Dana White's Contender Series. We lost to Danielle Wolf, somebody who didn't even have a MMA background. She won that fight, so they screwed her out of that chance to go to the UFC. The good fact is UFC is prejudiced against women of color. You don't see, other than I think there was only a handful. One point there was only a handful of women sisters. Like Danielle Taylor, Angela Hill, Marion Renault, Shannon Dobson. Sarge Eubanks, and what some people say that there's some women from Brazil, but sometimes those women from Brazil don't consider themselves as black, but you're a little darker than most other Brazilians. Mana Nunes, she got a bit of a tan on her, but Tanisha, she should be in the UFC. The 135 division is dying ever since I think Ronda Rousey lost. It's been struggling. Man, the news has been sitting on top. But now they have a new champion. Maybe they need to recruit. I mean, the UFC has been off, hasn't competed, had a show since I think about a couple of weeks ago. And they won't be coming back to 2015. At this time, they need to build, rebound. They need to fix the 135 division. Bringing people like Tisha Torres. Where's Tanisha Tenet? Where's Tanisha Tenet? Bring in Tanisha Tenet. Bring in the 105 division. And also, stop dragging your feet on the 145. Stop using that excuse that there's no attractive big women. It's not about attractive. If they can knock, you can see more knockouts, good fighting. It shouldn't matter how they look. Even look at some of these guys. They're not very handsome guys, but still, Tanisha Tenet should be in UFC. And here's another, my sister. She's a good friend of mine. I love her. She's a great fighter. She's a great person. She's a lovely lady at heart. And that is one Miss Lovett Young. I think she is an awesome lady. I think me and her have been, we talk a bit over on social media. We talk on the phone. I think she's a great lady. She's been fighting since 2017. Now, she hasn't been active since, I think, 2020. Her record is 3-1-1-2 with 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and 2 knockouts. She has held titles in the amateur league, but never as a pro. Now, she was probably fighting for a title in LFA, but something happened with the opponent, issues, something like that. So that fight was canceled. And she's a great person. Now, she had some setbacks a while back. She had caught the virus. I did a video helping her out, maybe getting some assistance. People saying me as Combat Sportsman, the coach, we support Lovett. She is she's a Nigerian. She's a Nigerian nightmare. I mean, she is a tough opponent. I think, she has great talent and she has a good record. She has knocked out 2 of her opponents. And the thing is, UFC, now they have a kind of a contract with LFA because, Victor, and UFC evicted that party ways, and they'll be going getting talent out of FA. And she should be in there. Now, she fought for the title against Vanessa Denopoulos about a few years back, and she lost to Vanessa. And then she had some setbacks, no one having offered her a fight. But now she's ready to go. She wants to fight. And UFC, you snatch up people like, Lupe Gutierrez. You snatch up Vanessa Denopoulos. You snatch up Sam Hughes. You snatch up Tabitha Ritchie. My sister Lovett should be in that group. You got a strong fighter who gives good competition. I love Lovett. I support her. I talk about her on my channel. Right now I'm talking about that. That's why I have her on my honorable mention list. You may not like her because the fact is, we all know. I'm not going to go into details. We all know what it's about. You want to be honest with us, we all know what it's about. She would be part of an African contingent. Her, Francis Ngannou, Israel Zanja, Kamara Usman, Africa. We all know the UFC and most MMA organizations, there is site prejudices. They don't want to admit it, but it's there. But I think she would make a great addition. If she even wins the LFA title, you should recruit her. You already recruited Lupe Gutierrez when she won the title. You should recruit her. 115 is a strong division. I think she does pretty good in it. If you think about it, you want to make 105, she might do pretty good in that. She's a great talent. She's a great lady. I think she deserves an opportunity to really show her skills. And UFC is a place everybody wants to go. If not, that's why I say Scott Coker, Open 115. You have people like Lovett. You got people like Ronda Marcos. You got fighters like Tara Graff. Other fighters who, shouldn't be fighting 125 because they're getting their butt handed to them by bigger girls. 115 with a great division. I think Lovett would be a great star over there, especially in Bellator. Anyway, as I say, I do content. I do a lot of content I do good amount of time on women in MMA. And, we want to see better things happen for women in mixed martial arts. I know a lot of you guys don't recognize a lot of these women. You may not follow them. You got to respect their commitment and passion for this sport. Being a combat sport, competitor is tough. And most of you, half you guys hadn't even, I would say how my mom used to tell me, some of you haven't even bust a grape, more or less than having to get in a fight. These women go in there, they get their heads bashed in, they get their legs kicked, they get their bodies bruised, and then they have to try to keep on going. And they don't make a lot of money compared to boxing or other sports. But like I said, this is why I do. Why respect and recognize these women for their talent, their strength. Like I said, this is what I'm saying. Women in MMA may not be the equal to men, but they deserve, they deserve the same respect. I should put they, but how it is sometimes you forget together. But like I said, these women in mixed martial arts, be it in boxing, be it Muay Thai, be it BJJ, MMA, all they deserve their respect and be recognized for that. And I hope in the new year people will be smart and realize these women opportunity, give them the pay they deserve, because they're taking just as much risk as men. And like I said, maybe they're not as strong as men, maybe they're not as fast as men, but women can take a lot of punishment. Being that they're the ones who can bear children, and that's tough. If men can bear children, when we talk about the thing, it's just something they couldn't handle. But like I said, I like to respect all these women, all these ladies on my Power 5 list, all ladies on my honorable mention list. These women, I have a lot of respect and reverence for. And like I say, if you don't like my list, like I said again, to hell with you. I did this for me. And like I said, I don't have to agree with everybody else's ideas or who is Power 5 the best. But like I said, you have to agree with mine. This is me, all the way to page, aka the Emperor of WMMA Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Have a happy new year.